Okay, so sometimes I have only finished objects and nothing on my needles. Today I only have work in progress, no finished objects. So hello everyone. Welcome or welcome back to my very small place on the internet where I talk about my knitting life, my knitting adventures, my love of fibers, and in particular wool that is local to me. I am in Normandy in France, and also what I can exchange with some of you. My name is Isabelle, and today it is extremely late, much later than usual. We are on a Tuesday. If I'm not recording right now, I won't have enough time to record and edit before I can push a video this next Friday, this upcoming Friday. I have a kind of a heavy week. So I'm not gonna be too long, I hope, because I just came back to work to go to an online meeting and I haven't had any dinner yet. So I'm very hungry. This is a good landmark for me not to be too long. So, with a shorter episode about what is on my needles right now and a bit of my rambling is of some interest to you, please stay tuned. So, first, as per usual, what am I wearing? I am wearing, let's talk about this shirt. This shirt I brought back with me from the US, from Atlanta, and I went back to France in 1991. So this shirt is over 31 years old. Good quality, very good quality. And I bought it at some kind of a store where they were having heavy discounts of some known or more expensive lines. And one technician in my lab at the time was an expert into finding these places. I bought this shirt and I'm still wearing it. So, this is some kind of a paisley. It's brown with blue designs on it. So it's all in my color range. What I am wearing on top, because let's not complain about the weather, but if I was talking about the weather, I would be complaining. I'm wearing my scraggly collar. You haven't seen it in a very long time. When did I knit this collar? It's in cotton that was in my mother's stash that she gave to me, and this cotton was, I think, the best fiber I could get from her. I knit this color in April 2022. Let's say that I need that in 11 days, in about 10 days. I really love it. It's a yellow that I think kind of fits my complexion a bit better than the yellow mohair that I have. It's more of a golden yellow, and it was not a piece of cake to be knitting. This lace was requiring quite a lot of attention. And I modified the border because I do not recall if she had bubbles or a picot edge or of some kind that I did not really like. And she made it as a winter color. More, it was designed to be knit with some kind of wool. So I adapted for my gauge and the cotton and the fabric, and I'm very happy with it. What I had told myself after knitting it is, one, I wanted to knit one in wool for the winter time. I have not. And the second thing is I wanted to knit another one and go all the way down to make a sweater out of this beautiful lace design. Meret Butzberger said that she is working on designing a sweater based on that pattern, but it's extremely difficult to grade two different sizes because she has two sizes for the collar, but you know the collar can be a bit too big, a bit too small. You can, you know, just put it that way on your shoulders, and if it's not the perfect size for you, it's not a big of a problem. With a sweater, you have to adjust so many other things, and she has not had any time and has not succeeded into grading that lace into a sweater. And underneath, because let's not complain about the weather, but the weather is not very good. I have one of my trendy little scarves that I knit with Holzgarn ties. The original one I knit in the ties held double. This one is the ties held single. I still have my little motif. And as I was saying with one of you when we talked about it, this motif is from one of the Japanese stitch dictionary, the Japanese stitch dictionary by Hitori Shida. I will have to write the name down below. And I've asked both her and the editor, and I have had no answer as to if I could use the design officially in my published pattern. So maybe I should just place it there, because to be honest, I have seen other patterns, other lace patterns from very well-known designers that were identical to the one in the stitch dictionary. So if someone can make a paid pattern according or using one of these stitch motifs or these lace motifs, maybe I can publish it in my free pattern. Okay, where to start to be efficient? Maybe we can start with the socks that I am knitting. Just to remind you, I'm knitting socks for my sons. They've asked for socks, and these are the first one I've been knitting in a long while, because I used to knit socks with my grandmother when I was a teenager, but she would say, do this, do that, and I would do this and do that, and I would not pay attention about what I was doing, and I did not recall. So I am using a free pattern by Summerly, and she has the book. I will link it down below, or maybe I should not, because that may be tempting you. She has a book about socks that I'm quite tempted to buy. If you have bought it, please tell me if you enjoy it, if you like it, because of course we can come up, once you have a sock recipe, you can come up with about anything you want in terms of motif, lace motif, or stripes, or other kind of motifs. That would be a way, because I'm using one of the free patterns, that could be a way to thank her for all the work and the energy that she pulls into this project that she has, into, maybe it's her work. I do not know if this is her work. And I will link a channel down below, because she's published recipes on her YouTube channel. Anyway, I'm using Lang yarn and Yawl by Lang. So the twin colorway, and for my three sons I have three different colorways. I've already made a pair that was with the orange to brown kind of colorway, and a neon orange as pops for cuffs, toes and heel. This one is the green one, of course, with the neon pink as accents. The first one, if I can recall, or if I can talk about that, the first one I knit on 2.5 millimeter needles with 72 stitches, and it was with the colors for my eldest son. This sock was way too big and fits my youngest son, who is close to 2 meters. I will write his height. This, I think, 1 meter and almost 90 centimeters. Anyway, and he has big feet. So these socks fit him. So I will give them to him. I've adjusted for my second son to use not, I'm still using the same needles, but 64 stitches, and it's not quite the same ribs. It's 2x2 ribs, and for my youngest I had a 2x1 rib, I think, with little ribs knit to the back loop at the top here. I love when you knit ribs to the back loop. And I have started my second one because my son tried this one on and it was a bit too short. So I added about a centimeter, half an inch, something like that at the tip. I unraveled the tip of the sock. When I was 2 weeks ago at the Knitting Public Day in Genève, I knit the 1 centimeter again after I went back home, and I think it was last weekend. I knit the top of the sock again, and I started last Sunday the second one when I was at the knitting cafe that I go twice a month now, when I can, of course, in a movie theater that has a cafe, and they have some kind, you can snack. It's all vegetarian. You can snack, and they have very good cakes. So I started the second one, and I'm gonna reproduce exactly the same recipe that I have for this one in terms of centimeters, numbers of rows, and everything. And I think this one would fit my second son too. So for the last pair that I will knit for them, I will reproduce exactly the same. And I think I recall the color is more of a light purple to darker purple, and the accent will be green, if I recall correctly. So this sock is underway and should be done whenever. I had my online meeting, and I had the sock next to me, thinking I will be able to be knitting, but no, I was not able to be knitting because one, there were few of us, so we all had our camera on, and we were exchanging a lot, of course, due to the current situation in France. So I could not use any of this time to be knitting on this sock. And of course, after I finished talking about the sock, there is one thing that I just recalled. With the leftovers, I will experiment with knitting socks for myself. Shorties, smaller needles, different kind of lace motifs. I have a couple that I found that I think were quite interesting, and different type of other experiments, number of stitches, and see how it goes to have a better idea of which kind of fabric I like better. I will try 2.25 and 2 millimeter needles because a lot of you have said that we need snug socks on the feet. It's much more comfortable, and it's not saggy, and it's not going down on your leg and everything. My son having bigger feet than me, I think it's going to be okay for them. If it's not, I'll knit other socks for themselves, and I will do experiments as far as number of stitches and needle sizes for myself with the leftovers. Okay, next, and in no particular order, I'm going to talk about the sweater that I am knitting with the beautiful Nutiden, the Val colorway that one of you gave me, and I'm knitting it with Lang Mohair, the one that has the most silk with it. So here is Val, a beautiful blue, an incredible blue that has some also gray hue into it, so a very particular blue, and it's mixed with this mohair that is much lighter in a way. And the final result, I really love it, is some kind of a heathered finish. So I'm knitting the Gallant Sweater by Kadri, and as you can see, I'm quite far down below. I'm almost at the point where I will finish the bottom of the sweater. I think I may need a couple more rows, maybe 3 or 4 more rows, maybe 5. I'm monitoring that very closely, and I'm trying it on every time, quite often. And I think that with the sorrel sweater that I knit with La Bien-Aimée and single merino single and mohair, I think it's going to be one of my most beautiful pieces. And as far as sweaters, I think, and I really love it. I have to see how the color, I don't like when it rolls up too much, and if it does roll up too much, it has the tendency to roll up, but maybe it's the way it sits on my knees when I'm knitting. I will just tuck it in and maybe sew it in so that it kind of stays up. But when I try it on, it stays up, so I'm not too bothered about that. And as there is enough room under my arms to be trying the sweater on, I think I will finish it before I finish the sleeves. Or maybe I will put it on hold and knit the sleeves and see after that. So it's quite a lot of knitting. I have to tell you, it's quite a lot of knitting. And I'm almost at the time I'm gonna go knitting on the sleeves. And it's an easy knit. For now, I need to monitor it quite closely to have it at the length I like. But it's an easy knit, it's an easy pattern, it's very well written. I had absolutely no questions. Of course, I'm knitting off gauge, I'm knitting the L size. I'm between L and XL, I think. So, one beautiful sweater that I should be able to wear once it's finished, if the weather doesn't change. Okay, last but not least, on my needles, Yara. Yara, I had no knitting time today. I won't have any knitting time tomorrow. I try to do 4 rows per day. One of each color. One way and back for each color. And if I can do more, I do more. If I cannot do more, I do 2 rows per day. And with 2 rows per day, and if I show you the right side, it's going to be much better. With 2 rows per day, I'm cruising through the last main border, the main motif in the border. As you can see quite clearly this motif. It's much more clear on the camera than in person, but I think this is how it's going to be looking like once I block it. Once I haven't said, so Yara by Natasha Hornby, sorry, I'm always saying Hornsby, but it's Hornby. And I'm knitting it with Holzgarn Super Soft in slate gray and light gray, or I will place the colors somewhere, or it's in my Ravelry project. And the yellow one is Golden Crest. And with Tides, and Tides is the one I've used for my Madeleine sweater, for these little scarves and other things. And once the Super Soft will bloom, I think it will look like in person the way it looks like right now on camera, where you see the motif much more clearly than I can see it in person. I like the way it looks a lot. When I show it to other people, they are always quite impressed. And I've already said that. I was very impressed, not to knit the first part. The first part, I'm not sure how I can show that because it's quite big right now. The first part, you knit it that way. So you have fewer stitches, you have easier motifs. It's just cruising. I had a hard time, and as one of you said, it's a very, very satisfying feeling when there is a daunting project that you push through and that you succeed. It's exactly that. I was very, very afraid about picking up over 300 stitches, 340 or something, along one of the borders. And Natasha Hornby has a recipe to do that in the pattern, and I hacked it and did other things to be sure that I had an even distribution of the stitches that I picked up along the border. So that was a big thing, and I waited and waited and waited before I got to that, and it was a big relief when I saw it was okay and I had an even distribution of the stitches. Then I need this part, oh no, it's here. I need this part, and the first motifs I had already knit on the other piece. It's not difficult, you just have a lot of stitches, so you place your markers, your stitch markers every so often so that you know where you are and what you're doing. No problem. Then it waited for another bit because I was quite afraid of this final bigger motif, bigger border, because there are other things on top of it. So you see there is that one piece here, and I'm in the last piece here that is going to show, that is going to be the same as this one. So I guess I'm 1/3 or over a third or fourth left in the main border. Then you have other motifs, and then you have the cast off, which is some kind of I-cord with bubbles. So I'll see what I'll do. I kind of like the bubbles at the edge of the shawl, so I may do the bubbles. Anyway, I really love it, and if you look at the big picture, it's really a satisfying knit to look at, if I may say so. I'm very pleased with it. I'm very pleased with the colors that are quite close to one of the samples that she's done, and I think it's gonna be, I will have a lot of wear out of this shawl, because it's at the same time it's light. It's not a fussy yarn, so I won't be looking after it the way I look after my slip extravaganza that I have used merino singles from, I think it was from Trellis, from Zakami yarn, and there may have been other yarn that at least look more fragile to me. Super Soft is not fragile at all, and I think I'm gonna be wearing this one without thinking about, taking too much care of it, in very neutral colors and colder colors that I like, of course. I'm all in warm colors today. Anyway, with the pops of the warm colors. And I am really trying to knit 4 rows per day on this one. And today I haven't had any knitting time, and tomorrow I won't have any knitting time either. So we'll see. We'll progress at the pace that we can progress. Okay, that's it as far as knitting is concerned, and projects and stuff like that, what I'm working on. It's almost 8 p.m. You see, the sun is coming. That's about time. And we should have huge storms and thunderstorms and stuff like that tonight and tomorrow. If I'm a bit lucky, everything is going to be a bit south of me, so I just have maybe some of the border with less dangerous thunderstorms, but that's what is scheduled for us as far as the weather. But for now, I will be enjoying the sun that is entering the house. And when we designed the house with the architect, I said, we are in Normandy. If I have just 1 minute of sun per day, I want it in the house. And right now, maybe we'll have 10 minutes of sun, and I will have had the sun in my house for today. The last thing I wanted to add is that last Saturday, I was supposed to go to Laines À L'Ouest with my Haute-Field sweater that I knit as part of a project I have with them and they have with other people, where they gave me the yarn to knit the sweater, to make pictures and to advertise their yarn and the wool line and everything on social media. They haven't asked for anything. All they asked is I need a sweater from a pattern that they can redistribute, and we had agreed on a pattern altogether, so it's a drops pattern. They are allowed to redistribute the pattern with the yarn to their customers. And so for me to knit the sweater for my size with their wool, and they take pictures and they can use the pictures. Of course, it's a good deal because at the end I keep the sweater. Anyway, I was supposed to go last Saturday to have a photo shoot somewhere on the coast, somewhere on the seaside, and maybe with the sheep, maybe in their farm. Anyway, it was so windy, so rainy, that first I was wearing the sweater. It was that cold. And second, they called me and they said, we can go outside to make any photo shoot. There is too much wind, too much rain. And I said, well, maybe that would be a good ad for your wool, because even in June with the very cold weather, we are still wearing the sweaters that are made with your wool. Anyway, they prefer to have the photo shoot during a nice day with a nice light, the evening light. So I am supposed to go back next Saturday, if the weather is not too horrible either, because what is scheduled ahead of us is really, really not good. And I could go right now. If I could go right now, that would be a perfect timing and a perfect light to take pictures, but it's an hour away. It's almost 8 o'clock. I haven't had any dinner. No way I'm getting out of my house for now. And tomorrow I have another very full and long day, so no. So I should be going back next Saturday if the weather permits. The next project I had with them is I asked them to dye that very, very dark aubergine, dark purple aubergine type of color they have. And the lady who dyes the wool said it did not come out the way she was used to. She had not been dyeing this colorway in a long time, and it did not come out the same way that I had seen before. So she can sell the wool. It's very purple. It's not aubergine. It's very purple. And I was more going for an aubergine colorway. So I told them, okay, I'll see once I'm there, but maybe I will wait one other day when your dyeing batch is successful as far as the colorway itself. And as one of you said, maybe the universe sent me a sign, because I was kind of concerned about my no-buy project. I had bought wool from Laines À L'Ouest, a sweater's quantity, and this was going to be a sweater's quantity too. And from Laines À L'Ouest, I have 4 more balls. That is not a sweater quantity, but I had told myself I would allow myself to buy 3 sweaters quantity this year, because I have many other beautiful yarn to be knitting from in my own house. So good. And I was thinking, if I buy the purple one, because I want to make Alari by Paula Pereira, if I buy the purple or the aubergine one, that's going to be my second sweaters quantity. I have no room for other things, or almost no room for other things. So maybe the universe is sending me a sign. Maybe it's not time for myself, as you said, to buy this yarn. And maybe I'm going to be I have to swatch the Alari sweater with the one from Laines À L'Ouest, the chocolate colorway from Laines À L'Ouest. it's an idea. I think it's about the right gauge. So I have to swatch. I have to see if I can adjust from my swatch and my gauge to the one that is recommended in the pattern. There is a very large size range, so I guess I can. That won't be too much of a problem. And if I don't have enough yarn to knit long sleeves, I'll knit shorter sleeves or 3/4 sleeves, and that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it. So yes, no more wool for me for now from Laines À l'Ouest, and maybe a chocolate Alary underway after I'm finished with my Gallant Sweater. Okay, so that's gonna be it for today. It's 8 p.m. It's past 8 p.m. and I'm not sure how long this video is going to be after I edit and everything, but it's over an hour that I've been here and I'm very, very hungry. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope we can have a discussion down below about my own project, your own projects, what you think about Alary in chocolate, because I have to see if there are people who've knit Alary in a dark brown colorway, but I've seen the grays, I've seen the aubergine ones, I've seen some clear light ones. I don't know if I recall if I've seen chocolate ones. What do you think? Do you think Alary is gonna be a good one in the chocolate colorway? And I hope that all your knitting is bringing as much joy and happiness as my own knitting is bringing me, because let me tell you, we are in such a political turmoil right now that it's quite difficult to stay out of these stressful news, because all that could be ahead of us under certain circumstances is going to be a big change for my country. And people are really, really worried about that. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about politics and everything. I kind of hang on onto my projects and I find joy into what Yara looks like and what this border will be looking like. It makes me really happy. It does make me very happy. And when I'm knitting, after we talk sometimes, we talk about that, I'm thinking about some of you after we've been talking about in the comment section, and to place joy and happiness into my own little stitches and sending them out to you. And it does work for me, and I hope it does work for you too, that to be able to concentrate onto positive things and positive thoughts, even if it's for 10 stitches or 20, and then you do it again for another 50. It helps spend some time without all of the turmoil that can surround us, because I have my own turmoil, but some people it's way more dramatic, and we need to actively work into placing joy and happiness into our lives, because it's not coming all by itself, and sometimes life and the circumstances work together to take them out of our life. So we need to place that back into our day, our minutes, our knitting, our lives. And in the meantime, I will also have a lot of joy to read your comments down below, because that's one of the highlights of my mornings. When I have time, I usually answer. I post on the Friday afternoon. I usually have a session on the Sunday morning to answer questions when I have or comments when I had no time during the Saturday, and sometimes in the morning or Tuesday morning too. And it gives me a lot of joy to be talking with you in the comment section. So thank you very much for being here with me, being here. That you are the reason why I'm making these videos, and you are the reason why this channel exists in its actual form about knitting. So I thank you very much for being here with me, and I hope I will see you next time. 2, 3, 4, 5. Top. Okay, last project on my needles, but last but not least, 5. Top. And I'm knit anyway I like. The weight looks quite a lot, or I'm thinking about some specific one of use, some particular one of use. How to say that?